Welcome to Duke Champions.
Listen up. All you ever asked for is an opportunity. You got it today. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
Yeah!
Come on with it, baby!
Yeah!
And an uncontrolled outpouring of just young people.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yeah, red, white, blue, feel the cold wind blow. Breaking down the tape in the combat zone. From Orchard Park to the end zone throne. This is Bill's talk, hard facts, backbone. Yeah. Alex Cullen with the sharp insight. Randall Cypher scheming chess moves all night. Alex Molly, big dumb animal raw. Smashing hot takes through the studio door. Stats get funky, narratives get thrown. Dude champions, media, Buffalo combat zone. Buffalo combat zone. Be there, crowd chant, let's go Buffalo. Be there, crowd chant, let's go Buffalo.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Dew Champions. FanDuel, the official sports book of Dew Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Dew Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.
Welcome back to the Buffalo Combat Zone. I'm your host, Alex. We are missing Miley and Randall right now. They'll be back in the room probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. I will respond to your comments as I can. I usually have either Randall or Miley handle those, but if you're in the comment section right now, I'll respond to them as we go. Wanted to, before they get here, just to give you a rundown what we're going to do today. We're going to go into our top 10 edge fits for the Buffalo Bills, work into the a mock draft. But also want to go over some of Bean's comments today as it relates to some of the questions he was asked. I think some of these things are pretty self-explanatory, and some of them are kind of, I guess, maybe a little bit enlightening. But I think it kind of reiterates some of the things we already thought about them in terms of Dorian Strong and things like that. So I want to share my screen on that so you guys can take a look at kind of some of the comments. I'm going to use Sal Capaccio's here. I think his is probably one of the better ones to follow when it comes to just kind of getting this breakdowns and things like that. Okay, so first and foremost, Beam was asked directly about Josh Allen today, if he'd be a full go for offseason workouts. I didn't think there was a big issue with this, honestly. I thought that the offseason workout situation was going to be a given. I mean, he broke a bone in his foot. I don't think that's necessarily something that would keep you out for 5, 6, 7 months. I mean, these OTAs and mini camps and things like that, these are pretty easy workouts. They're basically just throwing around and stuff like that, going over some of the install, but nothing too crazy there as far as that goes. Also, on the possibility of drafting wide receiver in round 1 after DJ Moore trade, so he's definitely still open to it. I would assume he'd be. I don't know why he wouldn't be open to it still. I think that, you know, this team, I mean, they seem to be in the market currently with Brandon Cooks. He did mention that as well. There was a rumor today about Dontavian Wicks being a possibility. I'm not a big fan of either one of those options. I would rather just fill in defense and free agency and then go into the draft with very little needs and be able to get maybe a high-end talent at wide receiver in round 1, or if we trade back into round 2. But he did say there's definitely a possibility of it. I think that that's I don't think that's a big shock. I think that he's given us basically what we kind of thought it was. And then he went right into, he's had conversations with Brandon Cooks and his agent. Cook remains a free agent as of right now. Cooks, Bosa, guys like that, in my opinion, are going to be guys who wait until to sign until June. So that's probably where we're at in terms of that. I just don't think that anybody's really, there's no any significant signings. A lot of these vets are waiting it out for a contract, and they just, after the draft, they're going to see who didn't get what they needed, and then they're transitioning from there. And then Dalton Kincaid's fifth-year option was picked up. He's under contract for 2 more years. That's a good thing. I think that he's deserving at least 1 more year to kind of take a look at where he can go contract-wise, because if he does get hurt again, I think he's on the table to be released, or potentially, re-sign for less if they do bring him back in. I think Miley's here too. So that's kind of where they're at. What's up, Miley?
What's up? Sorry for running a couple minutes late.
No, you're all good. I was just going through some of Sal Capaccio's comments today interview questions today with Bean's comments. So I feel like that was an easy transition. We'll get into our edge fits here in a short minute. Okay, so we did the Dalton Kincaid thing. We're there past that. He also said there wasn't much support in the meeting for the Browns' proposal to be allowed to trade draft 5 picks 5 years out. I think that the reason they did this whole Myles Garrett thing was because they thought maybe there was a chance that this would pass. And then because it didn't, like, now it'll probably go on the back burner and not happen. But I think that they were opening up the window for these maybe to get multiple first-round draft picks for him,
I mean, that's definitely possible.
Hold on real quick. Keep talking.
I mean, the Browns should trade Myles Garrett. That's just not me saying it as a Bills fan that wants him. It just doesn't really make much sense to hold on to Myles Garrett, in my opinion. They're going to be terrible for at least probably another 2 to 3 years. By the time they have really any chance to compete against probably like 2029, maybe 2028. And Myles Garrett would be a good player then, but he's definitely on the down track of his career. He's not going to be as good as he was this year. I think you capitalize on the value and you could probably get 2 firsts and a quality player, maybe even 3 firsts in a player. Like, he is that generational, even with his cap hit and his age. Like, he's going to go for a lot, and there's going to be a lot of suitors out there. I mean, Max Crosby went for 2 firsts coming off of knee surgery, not as good, and I think similar age, maybe at a tad bit cheaper, and he went for a top 15 pick and another first. Myles Garrett would probably easily get 3 firsts or a Micah Parsons level deal. So I think the Browns, even with this trade proposal or the trading picks proposal getting shot down, I would still say that they should trade Myles Garrett to just maybe wait till after the draft. If you want to get 27 and 28 picks instead, if you value those more, maybe you think you get a better offer then maybe you do that. But I think he should not, by the end of this coming season, he should not be on that team.
Yeah, I thought it was stupid when he came back in the first. I kind of want him to sit there because he made this decision for himself, and he's an idiot, and he should just be in a place where he reaps what he sows. I'd love to have him in Buffalo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he just wanted him. He just wanted the money. He claimed, "Oh no, I'm done. It's not about the money." And then money talks.
And then he just went after the money. I understand why he did it. Just don't BS everybody and tell us that there's a chance to go here or there. Like, you're just driving up your costs clearly. The Browns are a stupid organization. They're the worst bottom 3 run front office in the NFL. They're really dumb. They're going to try to double down. They had comments today from from the owner about Deshaun Watson today and how they think he could be the next Sam Darnold and all this other garbage, dude. He's done. Like, he's washed. He's had too many injuries, too much time off of football, not enough games played recently, and he's just toast. Like, it's super clear when you watch him play. But they're going to stick around with Garrett. And I watch the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show sometimes because I think it's a good show. And they're gung-ho about not trading him. I'm like, dude, you got to try some wrong sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it makes a lot of sense to get rid of your elite player so you can really start over and stop diddling around winning 4 games. You know, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you're a bad team holding on to aging veterans or even a mid team, I think the only time it makes any sense to hold on to top end aging veterans is when you're a competing team. Like, I get, like, you don't want to get rid of every veteran because you need a veteran presence in the locker room. And it's like what the Jets did this year. They brought in a bunch of old people, but that's because they're not very great veterans, but they're veteran presences to bring with the young players as they try to rebuild the culture and rebuild. Like that makes sense. But like players like Myles Garrett, it makes no sense to have a player like Myles Garrett on your team unless you are going to be competing within the next 2 or 3 years. If you're not, you should be trading him, getting the picks, even if you never fully get back the value of Myles Garrett, which is very likely because Myles Garrett's just that good.
Yeah.
What it does is it guarantees you're going to be absolutely terrible, and then you get the pick of the litter of your quarterback, and you're going to have so many first-round picks the next couple of years. You already have Jacksonville's this year. You get Myles Garrett. You could have where the next 4 drafts you have 7 or 8 first-round picks, which would be crazy. Yeah. And then you get all these players on rookie deals. You get a quarterback on a rookie deal, and you finally are going to get off of that Deshaun Watson contract debacle in whatever, a year or 2, whenever you can get out of it. And then you could really start to put yourself into a nice financial position building around a young quarterback. And who knows, in 3 to 4 years, you could have a really, really good team. You could be one of the best positions in football because kind of like the Seahawks. They're right now, they're in this very good 2-year window because they just kept hitting on all these first-round picks, and they had Devin Witherspoon, JSN, Gray Zabel, Charles Cross, Byron Murphy, basically their entire core, Kenneth Walker, they were all on rookie deals. Right. And so then they were able to go and get some more expensive veterans like Cooper Kupp or DeMarcus Lawrence, Sam Darnold, and kind of fill in the roster around that because they were getting so much production out of all these rookies. The Browns could try something similar, and a lot of these picks will probably be top picks because, the Browns are going to be terrible. Yeah,
and I think if you're a smart GM, you strike while the iron's hot, right? You don't trade elite players when you have a chance, right? But and being delusional about your chances is also bad GMing, right? It's not like Brandon Beane where he makes the comment today, my point is my purpose is to win championships for this organization, right? That's our job. Yeah, that's his job. That's not Andrew Berry's job. Andrew Berry's job is to build something better than what he currently has and then figure out the rest later. Trade Myles Garrett while the iron's hot. I think if they open it up for 5 first-round picks, I don't know if you would have gotten 5, but damn sure could have gotten 3. And I think that they could still do that. So that's my thing with him is if you're going to do it now. He's 31. His value's not going to go any higher. He just broke the sack record, right? Just go ahead and do it, unload them, and then move forward with figuring out if Shedeur, I guess, is the right player. Probably he isn't, but you know what I mean? Just throw him out there and see what happens. Don't stop diddling around with Deshaun Watson. And I know you're paying him a ton of money, but you made that bad mistake. Stop making the fans suffer behind, trying to watch him play.
I think I put in situations like that, I put it more in the owner because clearly – the owner, unless the owner says to him, your job is safe through this rebuild, GMs just never because they don't want to get fired. They don't think of it like fans. We're there for the long run. We want to see. They're I want to keep my job. I want to keep getting paid, and so they'll never go, unless the owner steps in, and they just never do it because they're afraid of losing all these ticket sales. But in the NFL, you could probably have 10 people show up. You could play in empty stadiums and you could probably make money. Just you could be the worst. You go 0-16, 0-17. They already did that. The NFL, you make so much money regardless with the revenue sharing that you are already going to be making a profit whether you sell a single ticket or not. Even then, you're still going to sell a lot of tickets. It's just maybe not going to be a packed house. When away teams will come and they'll buy up a lot of the tickets as well. When we played down in Cleveland, it was 75% Bills fans, 25% Browns fans.
Yeah, and honestly, they've drafting Shedeur for financial reasons is probably a good move for them, right? I mean, it's a cheap player that brings in a lot of fans. It's like Tua, right? They've got a cult fan base behind the player. So I don't. I think
that was just one Twitter guy. Yeah.
No, it's a lot, dude. No.
I guess.
Dude,
he's the leader of it. He's the leader of it.
He's the leader. Yeah. He is the leader, but there are other guys.
I know. Compare him to Dan Marino.
For sure. It is BBS is the most annoying person on Twitter, but he's got a game.
No, he's not a Baltimore Ravens fan.
He's a grifter among. His grift is so annoying though. It's really bad for me. I can't handle it. But
he ignores everything. He just ignores literally everything.
He just doesn't respond to anything. But that's what he's doing. He's getting.
Check out this 2022 throw from week 7. Yeah.
He's getting interaction.
When it was nice and warm and Tyreek Hill was open by 30 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
And he still found a way to underthrow him, but because he was so open, it looked good.
Yeah,
I remember that throw, Miley. There's like 5 to 7 of those, and those are all remembered.
Oh my God, what a throw, man! I could have made that throw.
Yeah.
And then the Ravens thing you're bringing up, I thought it was funny today. Like they put the broken foot thing out, and then Ravens fans just attack it like it's like we're making excuses. It's just an observation. In fact, it makes Allen look better actually. That
exactly
because he doesn't talk about it. Like
he didn't play bad.
It was an article where they were asked a question about it. What are they supposed to do? Just not respond? It's not like they're just going like, oh, broken foot, broken. No, they were asked questions about it. And it was never anyone who thought we hit it is just stupid. We know exactly when it happened. We can point to the exact play when it happened. And then he was on the injury report the rest of the season. Was not hit. When it first came out that he broke his foot, I remember seeing so many like opposing fans that will go, the NFL needs to investigate the Bills for how they hit this. It's like, no. He was
on the report every time.
Yeah, and the amount of Bills fans that when the report came out was like, how much you want to bet at the end of the year we'll find out he had a broken bone in his foot. Like, we kind of just expected it. We were like, it was at least a bad sprain. If not, it was a broken bone. Like, this was not surprising news to us, but everyone else was like, oh my God, they're cheating or whatever. You can't play football on a broken foot. I've broken my foot before. Yeah, we're not talking about the giant bone in your foot. It didn't just break in half.
Yeah,
it was a singular pinky toe bone that broke. That still makes it incredibly painful. But it's not like the main bone in your foot broke in half. Like what are these people saying?
It's funny. I broke my foot 2 years ago, and I'm older and I had slipped on the steps. I'm not that old. I am 40.
Hockey fight, anything.
I'm 44. It was like I had my socks on the steps, and I was going down the steps too quickly. I swear I'm athletic. I just slipped, right? And
I swear, all right.
Yeah. Miley, see me. I'm not a small I'm definitely an athletic guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm
it.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, let's see your 40. You gotta set us a time. You gotta set us a video. You're ready. You're 40.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop my shirt off for views on the video. So I slid down.
It's always sunny.
It's always sunny. I'm the Dennis of this crew. To be clear.
Should I pop my shirt off? I should have popped my shirt
Randall,
off.
I think you might be. You actually might be Frank. You're like the intelligent schemer of the group, you know.
Oh, I'll take Frank.
Miley's definitely Matt. Miley is 100% Matt. Anyway, so I fall down the stairs, right? This is a funny story. I go down, I slide. I'm like, right? And my daughter's downstairs. She's watching TV. And she turns it, she hits mute. And she goes, Dad, are you okay? And I'm just like, ugh. And then she hits unmute and just turns the TV off.
That's exactly
that is what my kid would do as well.
Anyway,
that's what I would have done to my parents. But I'm upstairs in my house, so
I could have played. It wasn't unbearable pain. I did break the I don't know, might have metacarp. I don't know the word for it.
Yeah, like a similar bone to what Josh broke.
Yeah, the top part of my foot, and it bruised up really bad. And then I think within 3 or 4 days, I could have taken a shot and run on it. You know what I mean? It's not like this. It's not like you have like a turf toe or something. Like turf toe is way worse, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I do want to transition. We have top 10 edge fits for all three of us. My wife's laughing at me. Top 10.
About the broken foot story.
We should probably talk about football a little bit, right?
Yeah, so top 10 edge fits for the Bills. These are edge fits, though. Okay, so we're not putting David Bailey on here and Ruben Bain because they're going to be way out of our reach, right? But we're talking about guys who fit our scheme of what we want to do, and then in addition to that, guys who we can actually obtain, you know. And I think that's important just because I think we need to give people like last week we did receivers and like 3 or 4 of them just aren't aren't going to be in our range probably. You know what I mean? And this was Randall's idea last week, and we vetoed it, and Miley and I did it with just the rankings. I think it's because Miley and I like wide receivers, and we just wanted to talk about all of them, you know?
Carnell Tate is going to follow us because remember he ran that slow 40 time. That's what. Yeah, like Brandon Bean comment. He's like, I hope he's going to fall to us. He's not good. Yeah, I think GMs need to look out for that and let him fall all the way to pick 26.
What about Max Crosby T3649? I don't know if he wants us to answer a question about that. Anyway, so I want to get into that so we can kind of review and kind of just discuss our picks. I have a very common theme with mine, so I'll let y'all go first on yours. But my theme is very common with all the players. I look at edge players, and y'all like this is probably good to start off with. When I look at edge players and we draft them, I want to see sack production in a lot of ways, right? I think that translates, not every time, but if you're not a sack getter in college, it's unlikely. It's possible, Danielle Hunter, but it's unlikely to be a sack getter in the NFL. Like Jason or Odafe Owe, he wasn't a sack getter in college. It took him 4 years to get 10 sacks, you know.
Shamar Stewart.
I don't love that play, right? Like there's just players I don't love.
So happy the Bengals took it.
Oh, me too.
Same.
And now they're going to be like, we have our edge of the future on the roster.
Imagine they take Keldrick Falk at 12.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. That would be crazy.
Keldrick Falk had a good 2024.
I like Falk. I just don't think he's
I like Falk. Like I'll be bringing him up when I'm talking about mine. It's just that would just be funny that Shamar Stewart and Falk as your two edge rushers just would not be a very good match because they're not big sack getters.
Minimal bend on both.
Dude, Falk is very similar to when we drafted Shaq Lawson in the first round, however many years ago.
I remember that pick vividly because
I did a Lawson when we first got him.
I did a first round mock draft, and I remember I got 4 picks right in that. I got the first 2 picks, and then I got picks 18 and 19. Us taking Shaq Lawson and the Colts taking Ryan Kelly. It was just so weird. It was like the first 2, and then like just randomly 2 in the middle that I got right. But I remember I mocked us getting Shaq, and then we got him.
Yeah, Shaq was weird. When we got him, I was like, man, this guy doesn't really produce a lot. But, you know, at the time, I didn't know enough about the draft to know anything. So just kind of, we got the next Bruce Smith on the roster. You know, this is like 15 years ago. So, but, you know, he ended up being a serviceable player for a long time.
Yeah.
And he still is in some respects. He's just a low-end serviceable player.
In 2019, I thought he was pretty good. I was kind of upset that we didn't bring him back. That was probably the best defense of the McDermott era, and he was a pretty decent part of it. He had some decent sack production. He was always a really good run defender.
He was AJ Epinesa before AJ Epinesa showed up.
I think a little bit better than Epinesa too.
I think a little bit better too.
Not as much splash play, but I think consistently better down to down.
I agree. And better against the run, things like that. Like I thought.
Epinesa just because of his build, people think he's a good run defender. He is not. Like he can hold blocks, but he can't contain.
Right. All right. So here we go. I've got us listed up again like last week. I'll let Randall go first. Y'all both have R. Mason Thomas at the top. I don't, but I like him. He's not my number one target. But go for it, Randall, if you want to lead off. And then kind of goes your breakdown of why you have them ranked where you do and like why you think they could fit.
For sure. Okay, so R. Mason Thomas, I think, is one of the more talented guys that is going to fit more into a 3-4 system coming into it. Oklahoma with 3-4. Obviously, Coach Valai worked with him, so there's a kind of a step ahead. At 6'2", 241 pounds, he does have 15 sacks in the SEC in the last 2 years, so that is impressive. The only issue is that he just over 31.5-inch arms. At 241, he probably will play at 250. He probably slimmed down a little bit for the combine and things along those lines. But if we were to draft R. Mason Thomas in the early second in a trade back, his speed and explosion is top tier in this class, probably top 3. He ran a 1.63 10-yard split, which I think was second in edges to show that explosion. And he does really good at those outside linebacker roles, dropping into spot coverage as well as covering flats. He can get there quickly. He also does contribute well, even though his arm length is not that great to the run. So he would be that dual guy where he wouldn't be a DPR guy. Gabe Akis is getting a crazy amount of hype where he has now gone from the back if you guys can remember this while I talk, an edge rusher from last year from UCLA that oh my God. Femi Oladejo, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Remember how Femi
brought him in for a
Oladejo went
visit.
from the early third to almost the early second in like
Yep.
from his pro day. That's what's happening with Akis. But I think Akis brings more to the table from Illinois. He had a 12-sack year this year, an 8-sack year last year. He's 6'4", 260 good build, 33-inch arms, 10-inch hands, and he's strong. He did 30 reps on the bench. Super impressive, and it shows on there. He's got really good speed, and he's got good speed to power, and his stunts and twists show that as well with his size. I think he's really, really good. He hits hard. I watched recently his Wisconsin game, and he hit Wisconsin's quarterback so hard that for the rest of the second half, he moved his pocket the other way to avoid Akis hitting him again that time. That's how kind of boom he comes. And then the same with Zion Young. Zion Young is going to fit more in a 4-3, but I think that since we're going to be moving, since this is kind of an install year for Jim Leonard's defense, we will see a lot of 4-man even fronts as well as 5-man fronts as well as 3-4 sort of thing. So we can plug him in and kind of figure it out. He had 57 pressures in 2025 at a 24% pressure rate, which is crazy. His explosion is very good, but what he does best, which the NFL loves, is his speed to power. He has very heavy upper body strength, and he can deliver off those tackles and then counter well. He can get to the quarterback really, really quickly. So that's almost like if we're looking at the beginning of the second round, do you want Zion Young, who you kind of have to figure out where you're going to put him, or do you want Gabe Akis or Mason Thomas? It's going to work really well in a 3-4 situation. That's kind of my question. I put Cassius Howell here. I know that I think you guys have him lower than me. I kind of agree with that, to be honest with you. Cassius Howell will come into the NFL as a DPR guy, but the allure of Cassius Howell and his ghost move is something that Buffalo is now able to use because of Jim Leonard's defense opposed to Sean McDermott's defense. So that 6'2.5", 253, he's still a little bit of a stockier build instead of being like 6'4", 250, but he has an 18% pressure rate. He's got an NFL-ready ghost move. He had huge games like a 3-sack against Mississippi State and 8 pressure game versus Arkansas. The only issue is that if you look at the last 3 games, he had 0 sacks and I think maybe 3 pressures in the final games. One was against Trevor Gooseby. Trevor Gooseby is a right tackle who's going to be an NFL starting left tackle once he declares. 6'8", 82-inch wingspan. He basically swallowed up Cassius Howell. And that's kind of what I'm terrified of in drafting Cassius Howell, but I understand the allure of him.
Sure.
Malachi Lawrence, 40 pressures, 7 sacks, 3 QB hits. His pressures matter because he comes in like a wrecking ball. He's got almost 34-inch arms at 253, 6'4". My only concern with Malachi Lawrence is I think he might be, other than Bain and Bailey, he's probably third in true pass rusher. I think he's got an incredible pass rush bag. He comes in with a plan, and he's violent from the top. Like, you could see right tackles initial punch him and win that initial punch timing, and he just, like, puts it away like he's like a parking garage beat or something. Like, he just swipes it down, and nobody can handle it. Yep. Super impressive what he does. My concern is if you're going to draft him in the top 40, he might also just be a full-on DPR. Cassius Howell brings some run defense. Malachi Lawrence takes really bad angles. He's got about an 18% missed tackle rate. So are you drafting somebody in 35th to 37th who's going to be only on the field for passing situations? That's kind of my concern and why I have him at 5. Akeem Mesidor, the great allure of Akeem Mesidor is he can play from 3 tech to 9 He does everything very, very well. He spot drops really well. He's got closing speed on those flats, really good in the run game, plays 3 tackle really well. You can push him inside to 4 at times to bring people out wide. That's where the Jim Leonard might have the allure of Akeem Mesidor to put him damn near wherever you want in that front 7. That's what I really like about him. 2025, I mean, Akeem Mesidor had 17.5 tackles for losses. That's pretty crazy. Especially, I mean, I know he had Bain by him, but still he did it. Basically, there was times where Akeem Mesidor played 3 tech and then Bain played edge on the same side, and it was pretty much unstoppable. Yep. We have something like that. Like, let's say you put Groot or Akeem Mesidor at 5T, and then you put the other one at 9I, I'm not quite sure what teams will do unless you put 3 down there and then have a running back on that side, because that's straight up lethal.
Yep.
Obviously, biggest thing is injury history. He's had one surgery on each of his feet, and he's an older prospect.
6 years.
Yeah, and he's an older
That's a long
prospect.
time.
So, yeah, I'll say, like, I know that there's a lot of talk, which I think it's half valid, in where, okay, you're now 25 and you had your 13, almost 26, you're getting your 13 sacks while all these kids are young. He did have like a 15 sack in Bowling Green. He went to Miami. He had his first year in Miami.
He
had an 8 sack. He had an 8 sack.
Oh, okay.
And then he had his surgery on his foot, missed the year. 2024 had 4 sacks, and
That's
then
what it
had the
was.
13 sacks after that. So he had ACC 8 sack once he moved over, and then obviously he needed the ramp up. So the age and his breakout is debatable, but the age and the injury history combined is a mess. I would not take Akeem Mesidor in the first. I think he is more comfortable in the 40 to 55 area, but I have him at the 6. TJ Parker, I have at the 7. I really like TJ Parker. I wish that TJ Parker did more 2024 stuff than 2025 stuff. Obviously, Clemson was an absolute dumpster fire of this year, and nobody played well. So it's tough to evaluate where, like, everybody, all 3 of us have played sports, where, like, when your team is so bad, how hard do you try, right? And I know that you're looking for a job in the NFL, but the camaraderie wasn't there from what I've heard.
Well, it impacts you too, right? Like all the players, all the players around you impact how good you play, because you need, like, you can't play 1-on-5 in basketball. You can't play 1-on-11 in football. So like when you're playing, the rest of your team around you is just not very good. It impacts your impact. Like you can't play off of other people, and they can't take pressure off of you, and they just isolate you out. And Parker, I don't want to take up your time, but
no.
Parker to me is kind of like, and I have him on here too. I like him. I think he's like a 4-3 end. That's true. Like ideally, right?
Right.
None of these guys who are big guys like Mesidor or Parker or anybody, none of them really weighed in that heavy at the combine, by the way. I thought like, you know, Mesidor was like a 280-pound prospect, supposedly. He's 260 something, low 260s. So, but I see TJ Parker's like, combine. Oh, is that, yeah, it was like low. I thought it was low 260s. Yeah, I mean, he came in really light. But guys like Parker are just a good all-around football player. Like, I like him a lot as just like a true 4-3 end. And I think there's a lot of meat on the bone there that can be pulled. There's like, I forget who else was thinking about the other day that just he had a big dip. I don't remember. I'll come back to it. It'll come back to me later. But yeah, I like him a lot, and I think that he's kind of like your safe player out of these guys.
For sure, right? Like, you can't be mad if we trade back and got TJ Parker, because he will come with a high floor. And you can get I definitely bet that you get 2024 closer to 2024 than 2025 out of it. And his 2024 numbers are absolutely bonkers. 12 sacks, 11 QB hits, 21% pressure rate, 57 tackles, and 19.5 tackles for loss. That like, if he had done that in 2025, he probably would have been ahead of Ruben Bain because of Bain's arm length, to be honest with you. So that's how impressive that was. So I mean, like, kind of go for it. I know I'm at 7, and that's kind of mean, but yeah, I mean, 2025 was rough.
Well, you want to draft when you draft though, like especially high, you're not drafting for safe a lot of times. A lot of times you're drafting for like upside, and he 100%. Has less upside than guys like, you know, like our Mason Thomas, for instance.
Malachi Lawrence.
Malachi Lawrence probably has the most upside. That's why I have him so high. So
yeah, exactly. I know this guy's a Clemson fan. So what are you going to do when Cade Klubnik those 3 and outs 4 times in a row? If I'm TJ Parker, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm tired.
I'm worn down.
I guess I never, the point you brought up about being on a bad team, I never dealt with that. Every sports team I was on was at least decent.
What a flex. You didn't play like pickup ball. Like, pickup ball, and then you just get with like 4 scrubs accidentally.
Well,
you're
I
like,
suck
all right,
at basketball, so I was the one of the scrubs.
I am rec league basketball. I can dominate by myself after that.
Yeah.
I would just sit in the post and just go high effort for rebounds and layups.
Yeah.
I wrestled my entire life. I never developed any basketball skills.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't either. I got caught my Freshman year, I got cut. But I digress. Michael Kamara. I believe I'm the only one with Michael Kamara on there.
Mhm.
I think I'm one of the highest on Michael Kamara in like all of the community. I'm a big fan of Michael Kamara. I think he might bring the highest floor, higher than TJ Parker, to be honest with you, when it comes to pass rushing and what he did at Indiana. In 2024, he had 68 pressures, 10 sacks, 18 QB hits at a 26% pressure rate. And then in 2025, he had 2 sacks and 8 QB hits, but still brought a 25% pressure rate. And his pressures matter, and he's got the best pass rush plan other than R. Mason Thomas. Or not R. Mason Thomas, I'm sorry, Ruben Bain. Other than Ruben Bain, he has the best pass rush plan. He knows what he's doing when he comes up to the line. He talks about how he watches tape and watches his tackles, what to do. And what Cignetti has done with Michael Kamara and that defensive line is made him selfless and NFL ready. So he works stunts and twists, very technical, and opens up his interior guys and his outside edge guys to give them sack production as well. And that's what I really like about him. He's got a really legit spin move. He's got a rip swipe. That's really good in a forklift. He's got good upper body strength when it comes to it. He's a super smart edge rusher, and he comes in with a really high floor. He's a day 3 guy, so we can steal him in day 3, and that's what I really like about it. And he's just a dog, in my opinion. And then Derek Moore, I'm not going to talk about Derek Moore a lot because I know somebody is high, Alex is high on him, so I'd like you to talk about
him.
Yeah,
at number 1.
Yeah. No, listen.
He's my number 1 player in this list.
Listen, I certainly get it. I know Derek Moore's capabilities and what he is, and not for nothing, but he's got 33.5-inch arms at 6'4", 255. He's a violent dude. So I'll skip him because I really want to hear Alex on that one. And then Jason Barham. Jason Barham, I put at 10. I believe nice. Alex has got him as well. Jason Barham, the reason I have him, and I actually very much understand why Miley doesn't have him, is because he is a mystery box, like the Family Guy mystery box scene, where you don't know what you're getting at.
It could even be a boat.
What a boat could be. Yeah, right, exactly. And that's what he is, because his first year he played a lot of Mike linebacker. His second year, he played a lot of weak side linebacker. And then his final year, he played mainly weak side, but he really came off the edge in 2025. And really his NFL job will probably be more in the edge, but he could be a rush backer in Jim Leonard's system, as he could come in the second level at times. He is that versatility piece that we were kind of hoping to get out of Leo Chenal, if you will. Well, you can move him around anywhere you want in simulated pressures, in creepers, along those lines. And that's somebody that I think Jim Leonard could use a lot. But obviously it comes with the age-old, he's a jack of all trades, master of none. So is he going to be able to master something in the NFL that he's going to have to begin to start learning into the NFL with grown men and grown man strength? How will he respond to that? That's where Jim Leonard and Brandon Beane will come in, and that's where the interviews matter with Jason Barham for sure. And that is my 10 edge fits.
Good job.
Okay. All right.
You don't have to go too far in depth, Miley. I know Randall just gave a scouting clinic just now. But you can give your overall feel.
Yeah.
I'm glad Randall did that because he knows way more than I do about this.
Yeah, exactly. Like he could really go in depth, and I can kind of
play off of it.
But anyways, R. Mason, I'm with Randall. I love R. Mason. I think he's extremely explosive. I think he'd be the perfect fit in this, like, with how our edge is built so far. We kind of have 2 more edge-setting, powerful rushers, and Rousseau and Chubb, who I think are very good. And you bring someone like R. Mason with some legit speed and explosion off the edge. It could be a really good trio. And Hoyt, who's also kind of more of that, like, powerful edge setter, too. I think that could really round out the room. But overall, for the entire edge class, I'm just not very high on this edge class in general outside of Bain and Bailey. Like only the top 2 I'd be comfortable if we took in the top 40 picks. Like we would have to trade back into the 40s for me to. I just don't like this edge class that much. I want to get someone to increase our depth, but it's more like a round 3, round 4 kind of upside swing versus taking someone. If we took like an edge at 26, R. Mason Thomas, I would be like, I like the player. Not in love with the pick. I think that there's just better value, but I do really like R. Mason. And then Keldrick Falk, I know why you guys don't have him on there. It's because he's more of a 3-4 defensive end.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where I really like if we took him to be our 5 tech, I think that'd be really good. In this hypothetical scenario, we would trade TJ Sanders. I just don't think he's a good fit in 3-4 situation. And then we could run Keldrick Falk and Landon Jackson as our 5 techs, run Ed Oliver and Dwayne Carter as our 4 eyes, and then run Deion Walker and Fedarian Masses as our nose tackle. Maybe get another nose tackle, and you could rotate a little bit there too. But I think Falk would be a really good 5T, and that's why I have him on this list, because I really like him as a player. I think that
Zion Young for me is the same thing. Like I didn't think I thought he was like a
Well,
Russo type. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to put either one of them on my list.
Well, see, I value run defense from edge a lot. I think not being if you can't play 3 downs, I'm not really comfortable taking you high at all. Passer specialist, I'm not really comfortable. Yeah, like the reason I have R. Mason at 1 is because I think he has some ability there, and he's also just so explosive off the edge. Like there's exceptions. Not saying R. Mason's Micah, but Micah Parsons is an exception. He may not be a great run defender, but he's a generational pass rusher. Like if you're a good enough pass rusher, you can kind of overcome it a little bit. And I think that's R. Mason. He has some some speculation because of his size and how good he could be as a run defender. But I think he can he's capable, and I think easily out of the pass rush specialist edge that isn't like Bean and Bailey. Or Bain and Bailey, I think R. Mason's easily, and Reese, I think R. Mason's easily the best. But yeah, as you can kind of see in my list, a lot of the more passer specialists, Malachi Lawrence, Cassius Howell, they're kind of a little bit lower because you're not going to get much run defense out of it. They were just coming in on 3rd downs and trying to get you a sack. And I think that that's just not super valuable. I don't think the NFL values it really that much. I mean, look at all the top paid ads. They're all able to defend the run. Like besides maybe Trey Hendrickson, and I'm happy we didn't give Trey Hendrickson that deal. I thought Baltimore extremely overpaid for him, and I think their run defense is going to struggle a lot because he is a terrible run defender.
They don't got nobody else.
Yeah,
that's it. I was researching them today, and I was like, no.
That's kind of my overall feel for like edge in general. That's kind of the way my list is. It's why I have Falk and Zion Young so high, is because they can defend the run. Yakish, he's also a wrestler. I just found that out today as I was looking into him even a little bit more, and I love wrestlers, so that's definitely a boost for me. TJ Parker, as you said, he's 2024 tape was really, really good, and I don't kind of put it too much against him that he had a bad 2025. Like, it's definitely a knock. Like, yeah, as you said, if he replicated what he did in 24 and 25, he is probably a top 10 pick. But I'm not going to say, oh, he's terrible, he should be a 3rd or 4th rounder. It's more so like, yeah, he dropped some, but I think, the Clemson, just everyone struggled situation, and this demoralizing, and everyone played worse, and that's kind of where it is. And then I think Malachi Lawrence, I think he is a pass rush specialist. That's all he is. And I would take him late 2nd, early 3rd. If we get that, like if we, in trade back scenarios, we pick a pick like that, I wouldn't be upset if we took him there. Cassius Howell, same thing. He had insane production, but he has the shortest arms ever measured for an edge player. He's in the 0th percentile. Like they had to go, he's a full regression over the mean below the next lowest. Like it is historically outlierish short arms. And I think you brought up the stat. What was it? What was the arm? Like only one person under a certain arm size.
Only one under 32 inches, none under 31.
Has ever had a double-digit sack season.
Tracking them at edge, right?
When did they start tracking them?
I don't remember. It was like 40 plus years or something.
That's a lot of data.
Been a long time.
So like he falls, and then Mesidor kind of really the full breakout age at top college. The 15 at Bowling Green's nice, but Javon Solomon had 16 at Troy.
Right.
I mean, granted, he then had 8 at Miami, but I think I kind of don't overly care about how good you are in college at age 25. And also the fact that by the time you are done with your rookie deal, you're going to be in your 30s. Like you're going to get one more contract. Your shelf life in the pros isn't very high. And also you're doing this at 25. It's not that impressive. And then Derek Moore, I'll kind of leave that up to Alex too. Like, I think that you have a much higher. I'll let you go in depth. And then Joshua Joseph, this is kind of me bringing it back to me liking run defenders. He's someone I'd be happy we took him at like 91, and he can kind of be like the backup to Bradley Chubb. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Bradley Chubb, at least as a run defender. He's not as developed as a pass rusher, but I think kind of be a good backup there. And on the early downs, especially if you want to save Chubb for more of a pass rusher, even though we know he's a good run defender, so we're not overly using him like Bosa on the early downs like we had to last year. I think he'd be a stab because I think he can come in day one and be a quality run defender, and I think that'd be a lot of value for the Bills, so we're not wearing out our guys as much.
I agree with that. Joshua Josephs. I think he's like your prototypical third, fourth round defensive end. He's just going to come in, he'll make your team and be your fourth guy.
Yeah. I mean, he had a 5 sack year. He had
he doesn't have no pass rush. Just
right. Yeah. I mean, I think he's almost got like 34-inch arms. I will say with like Joshua Josephs, and as you mentioned, which you had really good points with our Mason Thomas, and then I'll add Cassius Howell in there, is the two things for pass rushers that you can do with people knowing and still be able to win is speed to power and winning on the first step. And our Mason Thomas's first step is probably top 3 in this class. And that's how you can win, is if you can beat your tackle around the bend before he can get there, you got a sack.
Right. All right.
Or at least a very impactful pressure.
Or you could be Jared Verse, who just runs people over all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's like 80% of his pass rush is speed to power, and he's got like sacks on sacks.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Wish we get players like that to follow us.
I know, or be smart, or have McVay who can head coach and scout at the same time.
You're right. I wish we had Sean McVay, but like that's kind of the biggest I guess thing that sucks about us being consistently good. But we have we never get top draft picks. We've had 2 of them, and one of them's Josh Hill, and the other one Ed Oliver, I think he's finally like this is his prime right now. I mean, I think he's maybe on the back end, but he's in it. Yeah, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. 2023 Ed Oliver was elite. Now, can we get that? And then 2024, he took a bit of a step back, but he showed a lot of flashes. And then this year, and when he did play, was elite. It's just he played 3 games.
For sure.
All right, I'll get into mine.
And I agree with this comment. Yes. If Gable Stevenson made the roster, I was buying his jersey. Even if he made the practice squad, I was buying his jersey. He's one of my favorite college wrestlers ever. I was so happy when we signed him. I knew there was a long shot for him to make the roster, but it still would have been really cool.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree. All right, let me get into this Derek Moore thing. I don't have anything too elaborate, but I'll give you my rationale behind this. The 2 things I value most when you're not drafting like a surefire edge player is going to be 2 things. Whether they've produced, it doesn't have to be elite sack production. Just give me something above the mean, like above average in some respects, right? Derek Moore's last year was above average for sure. I think he had 10 last year. And then also just the measurables in general. Like I have him, like if Cassius Howell's arms were like 33 inches, I would probably have him higher. You know what I mean? Like,
Cassius Howell would probably be top 3 for me.
But clearly what happened was a T-Rex and Von Miller had a baby and Cassius Howell came out. So that's
real
of you. So what I would say is that's part of why I'm framing this with the guys that I do have. I think I love Derek Moore's aggressiveness. I think he's a good pass rusher. I think he's violent. I don't think his pass rush plan's all the way there yet. I think he gets caught up, utilizing his speed a lot. As a run defender, because of I think he's the prototypical new edge in the NFL, right? 6'4", 255 plus, good athlete, stuff like that, right? So I think he can improve the run defense, unlike guys like, I wonder if Cassius Howell can do that, you know what I mean? And Malachi Lawrence, I just don't know if they're all the way there. I have more faith in Malachi than I do Cassius to do that. So I think that there's something to build on there. So that's kind of, and we're talking about, to me, these are all like, I know Messidor and some of these guys are ranked to be 1st round picks. I have all of these guys with 2nd round grades to me. Not all of them, but that's where it starts for me here. For
Derek Moore, honestly, I think all he needs to get is like his grip strength and hand placement for stacking and shedding and setting the edge. Like that's where just kind of hit the NFL gym, get a little bit more upper body and be able to hold on to it.
Don't get washed out.
Shut him out, and then make the tackle. And then he's
Yeah.
good. So
Yeah.
I get it why he's at 1.
So I think the flip side is like an R. Mason Thomas, who I also really like. I worry, even though he's I think much better. It's relative. He's a better run defender than Derek Moore, but his size and lack of length, I wonder how it translates ultimately at the next level. So I'm kind of banking on physical traits here a little bit with Derek Moore, more so than the other guys. But these guys are all similar style players, right? Like you can see like Lawrence and Moore and R. Mason and Cassius Howell and Jay Sean Barham, like these guys are all very similar players in the way how they win and the things they do. I think in a lot of ways, with the way I don't know if the way they win is the right word, but they have all the similar traits, so to speak. You know what I mean? So that's why I have Derek Moore first. I believe in that more so, and I think the things that he can work on, he isn't physically deficient to be able to prevent him from getting there. You know what I mean? Malachi Lawrence, when you said earlier, like that was my main thing with him too. Like his pass rush plan, his pass rush moveset, like I think all that is like highly advanced for him, you know. Now we'll say at UCF, he didn't go against a lot of high-end competition every week on offensive lines. So it's like one of those things where you're kind of looking at it like from a standpoint of like, is it going to translate? Also, I really like Malachi Lawrence doesn't have any really elite sack years, but he's very consistent in his college career. He doesn't have a giant drop-offs. It's kind of precipitous rise and very stabilizing there and a lot of pressure. So like he's a pressure getter and then he occasionally gets the sacks. I think he had 7 last year. And I just like what he brings to the table. I didn't know much about him until like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I started looking at him more heavily. Akeem Mesidor, the 6 years in the league and the injuries are the only problem here for me. I think you can move him around a lot, like you were saying with Keldrick Falk. I think he can move all up and down the line probably and do a lot of different things. He can probably play 5 tech, 4 I. He can probably play 3 tech if he needs to. He can stand up and play. Like there are a lot of things he can bring to the table, but I do worry about the injuries. And I don't really know, like, you know, if he's best suited as a stand-up edge rusher, even at his weight being 259, like I don't know. I feel like he probably is best suited at like your 5 tech, is what I have written here. But anyway, so I'm sorry, I just got lost in my notes with him.
Who was the Toledo guy we liked last year? Darius
Alexander.
You remember? Darius Alexander. He was a defensive tackle, but he had the same kind of thing. Little bit injury, older prospect. Kinda the NFL strength kind of sized up to him and didn't go as well as we thought.
Ultimately, I thought that he was too good also to drop lower than 3 because I think he's probably the highest rated prospect on here, maybe outside of TJ Parker on my list, maybe because I don't have Keldrick Falk on here. So I was kind of like, all right, I'm banking on a little bit on like he has produced against Power 5 at the top. I mean, he was in the national championship game last year. The only other problem I have is maybe Ruben Bain on the other side. Is that taking pressure off him in some respects? You know what I mean? R. Mason, really the only problem with him is his sub 32-inch arms, and he's just small. He's barely over 240. I have concerns about that. He'd be number 1 probably for me as well if he was 10 pounds heavier. You know, I wonder about the transition if he's just going to be a designated pass rusher. That would be my main concern with him. And then just the lack of length, like we were talking about earlier, like is that going to translate to sack production like he got in college, or is he going to get washed out? Like I have my concerns with Cassius Howell in the same respects, even though he's got a little bit longer arms than Cassius. TJ Parker, same thing, better sack getter in 2024, way better season in 2024. Good size, primarily a end in my opinion. Geez, bro. I think
sorry.
No major upside. Upside's limited. But he's a solid starter. Like I think he's going to be a starter in the NFL 100%. I just don't know where the upside leads him if that's the kind of player we want. Cassius Howell, like we talked about him, 30 and an 1/8 inch arms. Like that's so short, man. I think my arms are longer than his, and I'm not a superstar athlete. Like that's really really short. Like Khalil Shakir's 29, I think, he's 29 and 8.
Yeah.
Like it's only an inch longer than Khalil Shakir, and Khalil's are like very noticeable when he plays.
He can't block for anything.
Can't. Yeah, because it's not his fault. He gives you the effort. He just can't get to you. He can't actually reach you when he's blocking. Sack production really strong. Not much against the run. Lots of tools. I think I just think his size is going to get him washed out of plays a lot. I wonder what he's actually going to be. Is he going to be what's the dude who just retired? A Bryce Huff? Is that who was it Huff?
Oh,
yeah.
Bryce Huff? Yeah.
Yeah, is he going to be like that, or is he going to be an actual full-time player? Like, I don't know.
Son Reddick.
Yeah. Gabe Yakas. I think he's like I said, I just started doing work on him too, but his play strength from what I saw was really, really good. Really good, solid length, solid size. I don't think he has like this elite pass rush plan. I saw a lot of bull rushing and things like that. We'll see if that kind of develops over time. I have more faith in him being able to do that, his athletic profile, than maybe like a Greg Rousseau, where I thought that Rousseau was just going to be who he is when he comes into the league. Jay-Sean Barham, sack production's kind of mediocre, but it's weird because I feel like they just didn't know what to do with him. You know, he's like a Swiss Army knife player. I think he can do a lot of the things that R. Mason can probably do if you gave him a job just to do it and be like, hey, this is what your role is on the team. I feel like he was just kind of this weird, like, not jack of all trades is probably not the right word, but I just didn't feel like, I don't know. It's hard. And he had his length is okay on him, but not amazing. But he kind of hits the threshold on those type of things for me. So I don't know. I have him lower just because I'm not completely sold on the player. I think we've raised him up because people keep talking about him because he's a 3rd-round prospect and he played on a really, played for Michigan next to Derek Moore. And I feel like that's boosting him some. But I do like the profile and like what he can maybe develop it to.
I would take Barham in the 4th. I don't know how happy I would be at 91, to be honest with you. Okay, I know there's a lot of Bills. I think there's a lot of Bills Mafia out there, a la Owen and for draft professors that are super high on him. But I do believe that since he's a project, round 4 is better than 91.
Sure. And then these two we haven't talked about yet. So you can elaborate further on it because I've just did some basic stuff. Danny Dennis Sutton, really good sack production in Big Ten for the last 2 years. But really kind of his whole career, he's had good sack production. And I like that, right? Like it shows he has kind of a nose for getting sacks. We don't have those type of players on our team. I guess Bradley Chubb does, but usually we can't find those types of players. Great height, great length, great athlete, solid physical profile with his weight. But I feel like he was like limited bend, limited counters. I feel like he's another one of these guys. I felt like put him in the same bucket almost as Yakas in some ways. And then Romello Height, man, I like him. He's really light though. He weighed in like 230 something at the combine. I mean, that's like.
I think his playing weight was that too. I don't think he lost weight for the combine. I think that's his playing weight.
Yeah, I think the stuff I watched, I think he's got he also had kind of mediocre length, which is fine. Good movement skills, good athlete, really good sack production this past year, and played at 4 different Power 5 schools in his career. He transferred all 4 years. Every single year he's in a new school. Like that, I thought that was interesting. Like we see a lot of transfers, but not like that's like a basketball transfer list. You know what I mean? Like basketball players, you'll see it. They'll go somewhere every year. Football players typically get stay for 2, leave, go for 1, and then maybe another 1 at the most, So I thought that was interesting for him. But yeah, him being so light, I like him. I think he's another DPR. I mean, I think what we're dealing with here is probably a lot of DPRs. And because of that, I kind of want to wait on edge unless one just falls in our lap at 26. I just don't know if it's possible. I'm at the point now where I think wide receiver and linebacker have kind of my top 2. Depending on what we do as far as trading back and things like that, and who's available, right? If CJ Allen, who's kind of fallen down boards a little bit, I think that he might fall to us. But like we're playing this weird game, like you said earlier, Randall, we're like, well, he may not be there or he might be there. And then it's like, we never really know who's going to be there. We're just kind of going off what we think and what these mock draft sites say a lot of times, Okay, cool. Any other thoughts on that before we jump to the next thing?
Yeah, I think we're all in consensus that of the edge class. So I'm curious because it seems as though you guys have seen a lot of work that like edge is a priority at round 1 or round 3, and I get it, but I think we're on the same page that we also don't get it, because I do think that we can survive this year with the edge class that we have in a day 3 edge, opposed to wasting the capital at 26 and 91 to getting something more that we need, a really heavy set linebacker that's super important in a 3-4, and either a wide receiver at a premium position that we can get cheaper on. But I'm with you. There's so many good guys in 2027.
Look at the draft history on edges outside of TJ Watt. Let's eliminate him. Edges like past pick 20 to like pick 40. They did stuff on this a couple years ago. We were talking about getting an edge and we got Rousseau. The numbers are really low, really poor on like hitting on those guys and becoming like elite edge rushers, right? A lot of them are good players. Like Rousseau's a good player, always a good player. These are good players, but most of them are like Peyton Turner. You know what I mean? Like guys who don't give you anything, or they don't give you the sack production at a minimum. So it really is kind of a bad idea, like if you look at the data, to actually draft an edge player in the 20s. You know, like it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
My thought on it is also is if we draft an edge player at 26, he is at best edge 3, if not edge 4 on our team. If we draft a wide receiver, he's boundary wide receiver 2. Because I think slot receiver Shakir should be wide receiver 3. Sure. Maybe he's the second most productive wide receiver, but he's wide receiver 3 because he doesn't play on the outside. So it's like, would you rather get edge 3 or 4 or edge 20 or edge or wide receiver 2?
Right.
I'm going to go with 1. I think wide receiver better prospect. 2, they're going to get more playing time. They're going to bring more value. And then it's like linebacker. Do you want to get a starting linebacker or do you want to get edge 3 or 4?
Right.
Yes, edge is more valuable, but give me the starting linebacker because he will actually start and give you more value. And yes, I know it's kind of short-sighted to just look at just like year 1 and year 2, but like we're also in a championship window. We can't really afford to take someone who's not going to be a starter for us until, because really if we took an edge at 26, he's probably not a starter for us until at least 2028, because you have Chubb as this year and next year as a starter. And then there's also still kind of Hoyt there.
I have a question for you, Miley, because I know you're a big linebacker and round 1 guy. What do you think? Like, who has to be gone for you to get off of the linebacker and round 1 thing? At
CJ Allen and Jacob Rodriguez. I would take Jacob Rodriguez at 26. I just think he is just a playmaker. I think he's a dog. I don't care how similar he looks to Terrell Bernard.
Rodriguez than Allen.
Yeah. My thought is, look at how good Terrell Bernard was in 2026. Give me 2 of those. Or not 2026, 2023. Give me two of those. I don't need no big thumper who can't cover. Give me two guys who can do 2 hybrids who can do a bunch of everything. I think with the way the NFL is, especially in a 3-4, you're going to have a lot of times 5 down linemen. You don't need a big thumper linebacker.
He's got better size.
But in a 3-4 though, an inside linebacker can sometimes only have about 3 jobs. That's work in the box, small spot coverage, and work in the run defense. So that's why exactly, because we're looking at Dorian Williams just switched in that depth chart to inside linebacker, and that's kind of what he can do. He works better in that 3-4 system than McDermott's 4-3 in that job because there's less jobs to do.
What if we get Shaq? Are you still a linebacker round 1 guy?
Me, no.
I
would. Oh, I'm sorry.
Personally, I would take, if it was up to me, I would take Conception. I would take Cooper.
Okay.
I would take Chris Bell over the linebackers. I'd take Hayden McDonald over
Brazel.
I would take Brazel at 26. I wouldn't even really want to take Chris Bell at 26. Really, I'm still more team trade back. Really, the only players I'd be fine with sitting and taking at 26 would be Conception, Cooper, and McDonald. Okay. Maybe R. Mason. Like, I could be talked into it. I'd be a little annoyed that we went edge, but I really like R. Mason as a player. So I'd be like, I like the player. Don't love that we went the position, but like you could also make your argument he'd be the BPA in that situation. But outside of that, if Cooper and Conception go early and they really want to put Dion at nose tackle, just trade back at that point. Like, I'd rather trade back, and I like Brazel and Chris Bell at the top of the second. I don't like them at the end of the first.
Okay. I just wondered. I know you're kind of bigger line. I like linebacker too. I've always kind of had rules where I'm like, I don't know if I want to take one in round 1, but I like Rodriguez a lot. Although people aren't seeming to think he's a first round value pick. like I said, we don't know that, but
Well, maybe
Field
teams can
doesn't
think
feel
that
that.
we can get him in the second or
There's-
something. Let him fall.
yeah.
There's like 12
well, like-
true first round grades in this class.
Exactly.
After that, like
Yeah.
it's so
It's a
scheme dependent.
toss-up.
It's such a yeah.
It's toss
Yeah, and well, like my thought is, I have never been I've never valued like a Nick Bolton. I've always thought he's extremely overrated, and I see Chiefs fans on Twitter talk about all the time about how they don't think he's that good because he can't cover. And I just think linebackers who can't cover, it really caps their. I would rather take a linebacker who can cover but isn't great against the run than a linebacker who is good against the run and can cover. I mean, it's kind of Crawford, Hardver, Story, and Williams.
All right, y'all want to do a Bills mock real quick? You go with that?
Yeah,
Just the
that
Bills
works.
Yeah.
You go with that,
I
Randall?
actually have to take off. I'm still
that's
double
fine.
duty, so I
Yep.
got to put the child down.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
me and Miley can handle it.
Okay. I appreciate
All
you
right.
guys.
All right, bro.
right.
See you next week.
Peace out.
All right, see ya. All right, let's do this. Let's see if we can handle a full mock going into round 7. We'll just walk our way. through
We
it.
just
We
won't
don't
have
know
the
anything
history
about
analysis that Randall has. We know enough names where I
Sure.
think we'll be able to handle it. We just won't have the
the breakdowns.
yeah.
All right, so care for positional value. I think this is silly. I think everyone cares about positional value.
Oh yeah, I always move it up like that.
Yeah,
I
that's
put draft for needs. That sounds about right. And then I think randomness is good there. Just a bit of randomness.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we'll look at it that way. All right, cool. We'll just do Bills to make it quick.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll look at trades because that's what this is going to be. Because we're going to do the 7 rounds, we'll have to figure this out and what we would do in this situation. You're right.
Yep.
We're just doing 1. So, all right.
And we're trading up is basically not happening.
Let's see what kind of realistic stuff happened, though. Hold on. I'm going to go back to the first part here. Mendoza went, Bailey went, Reese went, Love, Sonny. Okay, this is not random at all. Tate, Dylan, Thieneman, yep, and Delaney, yeah.
Freeland, I guess a little bit.
That's good, but like not to Dallas. I wouldn't have put him on Dallas. Yeah, like,
that's kind of where I'm saying it's random.
chocolate.
That's where there's some randomness.
A little bit of random. Okay, well, hey,
The
last
Rams
year
taking-
Washington.
The Rams
picked
taking
a-
Timu Puka.
Yeah, and like yeah,
The Chargers
Did
taking
he?
another tackle.
Wait, did he? They did. They took Timu Foka. I think that's crazy. You said that. Last year,
I like Makai. I love Puka, so I don't think Makai's going to be Puka. I don't think any receiver this class is going to be nearly as good as Puka.
Connor Lee last year was taken by the Commanders, right? And they had just got Brandon Coleman had a good year, and they had just gotten Tunsil, I believe, at that point.
Yeah.
Still drafted the tackle, so it could happen, right? They have less of a need than Washington.
Well, I think the Chargers taking Blake Miller, unless they plan on moving him to guard, would be crazy because, like, if they took a Proctor, that actually kind of makes a lot of sense. You move him to guard, and then
he's tested really well, by the way.
If you have to move him to tackle, if Slater all inevitably get hurt, unfortunately, it's like, all right, this guy he clearly can play. Like, his size and skill set kind of looks more to guard, but you could at least start him at tackle, and if those guys get injured.
So we got a couple of our targets on the board right here. We can walk through them. We've got a lot of deep tackles. So here's the question, right? When you get to this point, it's a cost benefit analysis, right? Like, look at all the D tackles available. We have McDonald, who I'd have as my number 1 D tackle. Peter Woods, Caleb.
Yeah.
I mean, Kristen Miller's on here. Lee Hunter's here, right? But Rodriguez is there probably a little later, right? But we have Concepcion on the board as well, and that's kind of our last receiver that we've been like, hey, we should really like take a chance on. Right. So like that's probably what we're going to run into is one last receiver at 26 and a bunch of D tackles we really like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the question is like, if we don't trade back, we're going to wait till 91 to get one of these D tackles or a linebacker. Unless we trade up at some point, which I think it's gonna be hard to do from 91 to get to the second or early third. So that's kind of the dilemma. And then like, do you like the middle receivers better, or should we just trade back a few picks? I think trading back only makes sense at this point.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how I feel, but at the same time, like Casey Conception, because we're Casey Conception fan club. Of the Austin Corbett signing, I really like it. I think it's going to be super cheap. competition for Alec Anderson, and if either of them start, I'd be happy. Like, I think they're both capable starters, and I bet you he's pretty cheap, and the loser or whoever loses the battle becomes that 6-ounce lineman that is versatile and can play a lot of different positions.
I like Corbett too. Good.
Yeah.
Solid age, has a lot of production, 28 years old. I think he's more of a finesse. He's not a finesse player. He's like a David Edwards. I mean, like David Edwards is
exactly.
Like he wasn't a mauler, but he was really technically sound and good.
And I think it just fits well
with injury history.
And because I do trust Anderson, and it's like we have two guys where I trust in that spot. And then if say Corbett looks really good and we still like Anderson, that's the free path to let Torrance walk next year and not have to pay him like we did with Anderson this year.
Yep. All right. So here's a question. So Randall's got something else. Will you share his comment real quick? Because I'm in the middle of this thing.
Yeah, I'll share. Sorry, I full screened it so I could see it a little bit better. So let me just get out of full screen. Oh.
All right, got to add this. PFF is being dismantled, and tomorrow may be the last day to use it. Crappy news, but bought and gutted. Wow, I wonder who bought it. Like
Brandon Bean's having a party right now.
What?
We know Brandon Bean doesn't like PFF. Yeah,
I wonder who bought it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, that's
my subscription just went out like 2 weeks ago.
NBC?
Good thing I didn't do it.
Did NBC buy it? Because doesn't Chris Collinsworth own it or something? Didn't Collinsworth?
I don't know. I have no idea. I know they have like there's some connection since Sunday Night Football. They put the PFF numbers and grades or whatever.
All right, let's get back to this. So here are our trade options. We have 5 options. Let's assume these are our only options. Okay, this is the only time we're going to trade in this draft. By the way, we're not going to hold up too much time on this. One is Kansas City at 29. You can see it.
Yep.
The next one's New Orleans at 42. That's a pretty far way to go, but we wouldn't we'll get way more for that.
Wait, where do you see them? I only see the.
I know it doesn't pop up when I look at it.
Oh.
It doesn't show it on your screen. I don't know why. So the other one's Atlanta at 48, Denver at 62. That's way too far to go. I'm not going back.
Yeah.
So it's
especially since they don't even have a third. We'd be picking up picks next year.
Chiefs 29, Saints 42, Falcons 48.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Saints is probably the best one there.
I was going to say Chiefs, and then you look to one. If say Conception's still you trade back to 29, so Conception's still there. Let's try 29
spots, so 109 probably for 3 spots.
And we give up maybe 165.
I don't think we have to. I think we just get 109 and call it a day at that point. So mid 4th. No,
to move 3 spots. I'm trying to think. Well, yeah.
That's about
that works.
2 to 3 spots is probably a 4th rounder at this point.
So, it says this trade will likely be accepted. So that works.
Let's do it. All right, resume draft. We got our picks, and we're coming back down the pipe again. Okay. So
let's look at the trade.
Move up. They moved up for Avion Terrell, corner. Okay, that makes a lot of sense for them if they think the Texans or the 49ers are going to do it. I don't know.
Please tell me this is not a bad trade option.
36.
Ooh.
That's a good one. I love
this.
Yeah, 36. We're doing this, right?
Yeah, 36, so 109 to 67, try.
We talked about this, remember, on what it would cost. I think if we get 67, we're going to have to give up 91.
What if we do 109 and 168?
Okay. Wait. 109, 168, and then 67. Still, it says there's a good chance. I think I have my doubts. I'm much more conservative on these numbers with what we can get back. That's 2 second-round picks.
I've just seen how aggressive teams have been in the past, and I think this is we've talked about this plenty of times. I think just the history has shown that this is a comparative package.
Let's see what this does. 126. I think maybe do 109 and 126 to make it kind of real.
Let's do 165.
Okay.
I don't want to give up to both for us.
Okay. And it's telling us it's like an iffy thing, but they want to get up and get a guy. I don't know why they would or what they need, but we're just going
Conception. Let's see if it's Conception.
It is.
Oh, it's McDonald. Crap.
At
first I thought Conception went to New England, and I was now that I'm thinking about it, we're at 29. I would take Conception just so Miami and New England couldn't.
Yeah, because we are in a weird spot with them right behind us with the receivers and stuff like that. You know?
Especially since then we picked up that fourth, we can move from 91 up into the 70s with that fourth. So
now
I feel like we'll probably sit here though, right?
Yeah, let's stick and pick here. Yeah, we're gonna pick a player. Well, who we got linebacker was? Oh, I'm sure all the linebackers are available. Well, let's do it anyway. I personally here, if you're not opposed to D tackle this early, Kristen Miller to me would be a good fit. What I want to do.
Randall kind of sold me that he's not as much of a nose tackle though.
Okay. All right.
And the size and the run defense, I thought he could play nose, but Randall was kind of making it seem like Randall's making it seem like he was more of a 4-eye 5 tech guy.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
He is kind of tall.
And that's kind of like we don't need to take another. If we're taking a D tackle early, I would be kind of annoyed if it's not a nose tackle. If we take like a 4-eye or a 5 tech at like 126, they really like someone, or even at 91. But at 36, if we're taking another,
the more I think about it,
another non-nose tackle, defensive tackle, I'll be pretty frustrated.
Hayden McDonald. The more I think, the more I think about it, the issue here is that he's really the only one that's like a high-end value at that pick for a nose tackle. I think we can have less of a drop-off from the other guys that are available in the third round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if we're not getting McDonald to just hold and wait,
like what you're saying. McDonald's not there. Yeah. I think the opportunity cost is limited at that point. I mean, it's high at that point that we would pass on a receiver at this point, right?
Yeah.
Or linebacker. So then we're coming down to basically Rodriguez or like Chris Brazzell, I'd be fine with that. Chris Bell, I'm fine with it. Although the injuries scare me. I hate drafting injured guys. Skylar Bell, even I like Skylar Bell a lot. I know you're a big fan. There's only 3.
I was kind of blanking on something. Oh yeah, with D tackle, I'm trying to not get my hopes up as much this year that we're gonna get a nose tackle. Like I'm just like in years past, I'm like, oh, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get Alfred Collins. We're gonna get Tyleek Williams. And the years past, I'm like, nose tackle, it's finally gonna happen.
I just think Bean doesn't care about it.
I don't think Bean or McDermott cared, and
I don't think Bean cares about it.
I definitely both of them, because Bean has at least gotten veteran guys in the past to be nose tackles, and McDermott really hasn't properly used them. I don't know if that turned him off on it, or he just also doesn't value it in the draft. I think he just doesn't value guys who could rush the passer.
Yeah. So here's what I'll let you make the pick here, because I don't care. Okay. I'd take any of these guys and be completely happy with it. Chris Bell.
I think I'm going to go Chris Bell. Because I think we can get a starting linebacker, even though I think Jacob Rodriguez is BPA here. But I think that the drop off, like you were saying with D tackle, I think there's more of a wide receiver drop off from this range after like after both Bells and Brazzell to the next group of wide receivers versus Jacob Rodriguez to like a Josiah Trotter or Jake Goldie.
So Bell or not Brazzell. Okay, Bell. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I said I was really like, okay, well maybe Goldie or Rodriguez would be a good. And now we're not really going that far back. We're early.
Yeah, we can Trotter right here.
I thought it was round 2. I don't know why. We could go. Let's see who else.
Yeah, we'll see who's there. But like Trotter makes perfect sense there.
I'm not picking corner, by the way. I need to be able to scroll my touch screen here. Linebacker, corner. I want to throw edge in. Okay, get rid of corner. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's throw in D tackle too. Just for mother. You're telling me Trotter's the only option here?
Yes, that's and also safety. But I've kind of just, since we've signed a bunch of safeties, I don't think they're going to draft one as high. Unless like if Thieneman somehow like crazily fell. It's like Thieneman I've just kind of put out of my mind, like he's not going to. But if Thieneman's at 26, you just draft him and you figure out how to get those safeties.
Big Citrus is available. Big Citrus is in the house. Dominique Orange. Yeah, I mean, I feel like now is the time for linebacker, because I do see
I think you're getting to the edge of that tier, and I think there's a drop off.
I don't love where it goes from here to round 4. But the other thing is Anthony Hill Jr. Did you hear the weird comments about him?
No.
That he had a really bad body. Just like, I heard that and I was like, what? This is something, I guess he's just flabby or something. I don't know. But I think he's a good player. The question is, Trotter's upside is like through the roof too. I would really like him as a middle, like a running mate. I think he gives us something different than what Bernard gives us.
Yeah, but also I think I trust him in coverage more than I trusted Dorian.
Yeah, for sure. Right. So are we kind of we're going with Trotter here?
I think I really like Trotter here
too, and I think the value's right too. I know that PFF has value here for one more day, but but I think it's interesting to say the least. All right, so we got our linebacker.
I think we're definitely going center here.
Yeah. All right, we got a receiver, we got a linebacker. Hopefully the receiver is able to play.
Since we already have 2 starting centers on our roster, we should add a 3rd starting center.
And let's throw in a 5th as well. All right,
let's just draft like 5 centers out. Let's just draft centers the rest of the class.
So we do have Barham on the board there. Whoops. I think safety's still kind of in play.
Well, yeah, I think so too, because granted, I think whoever we draft probably doesn't play much this year, but where I doubt Gardner Johnson stays past this year, and I don't want Geno Stone or DeMar Hamlin starting at all, and they're both also free agents after this year.
So we got,
and also I don't really want DeMar to make the roster either. I want him to be on the practice squad, so we need a 4th safety regardless there anyways.
We got Corleone's on the board here as well. We also have Jay-Sean Barham. I like Zakee Wheatley, good safety. Genesis Smith, good safeties. Genesis Smith would fit really well if we wanted to go that route. I just feel like we have a lot of safeties now, and I think it's getting weird.
Yeah, I think Genesis Smith, I like personally, if I was building the safeties, I would go with Smith over Wheatley. But the way that the Bills have kind of attacked it, I don't think Bean wants like a true strong safety, a true free safety. I think he kind of wants how we had with a Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, where yes, Poyer was better at the strong safety box and Hyde was better at the free safety center field type stuff. But they could, like, if Poyer was bad, if they were roles were reversed, they could be a fine. Genesis Smith, he is not playing in the box at all because he can't tackle. And that's where I think they go with Wheatley, because I think that he's kind of more similar to Cole. Like, he can play the free safety role. He can kind of be like more like the Micah Hyde, while Bishop can be more the Jordan Poyer.
What about Barham versus Wheatley?
And see, I would go with safety here because personally, I think that I think we can. I don't think we'd be ever to get a starting edge player at this point. I think we get a starting safety, not a starter for this year, but I think we can get a starter for next year, while we in round 4 or 5 get the edge depth we need.
So Dante Corleone
and then get the edge starter next year.
Dante Corleone's like a prototypical nose tackle.
Yeah, but his size is weird. 6'1",
330.
Yeah, he's a bowling ball.
Yeah, that's what you want, man. You want that Puna 4 type.
Yeah.
You want
you want
safety? They're pretty close in ranking there. I mean, I'm not saying that that's the actual ranking, but if we're going by this being our draft board, you know what I mean? What to do, you know?
I would go with safety just because I try not to get my hopes up about D tackle. Much I love Kay McDonald, I've kind of just thought I just don't think we're going to take him.
All right, we're going Wheatley because of the hybrid focus of the safety room.
Yeah.
Now we got a little ways to wait for our pick. All right, here we go, 126. All right, so I think corner is
I really like Tacario Davis. I think the last time we did I think it was me and Randall the last time, and we took Davis.
What's his profile look like? I'm not saying anything.
He transferred from Arizona, I think, 2 years ago?
Okay.
Or he was, because I think he was I think it was last year maybe he played Arizona, and he was scout, like people thought he was going to enter the draft, and then he came back and transferred to Washington. I remember kind of liking him last year too.
Hold up.
Because I mean, I hope if Strong can play again, which is still kind of up in the air, I don't know. that will be huge. But even if he can, we still need another guy anyways.
So
but if he can, that would be big.
Kilgore's more of a safety.
Yeah.
He's not a corner that we need. Tim Keenan's another guy who can probably play the nose for us, but this is probably it's about the right range for him.
I love Tim Keenan's mentality.
Yeah, he's kind of not a great athlete.
Yeah.
But
he's got a good anchor, so I think he's that guy.
The corner room needs depth, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's rough. I'm just gonna pull.
Yeah.
I just think it needs a lot. Like we've got our top end really freaking good. Everything else needs a lot of work.
And Max has injury concerns, if he gets injured again.
Yeah. All right, man. Michael.
Which I expect us will probably bring back. We'll probably bring back like where we're signed some veteran corner or whatever. But I just honestly I don't see us signing anyone of any value until the draft because like how he said with Brandon Cooks, like we've been in talk. I bet you he's been in talks with a lot of veterans. It's probably how it has been around a lot around the league. But like players don't want to go places where then you can draft someone to be their starter. Like if we draft someone at 26, Cook's not going to want to come here because he knows he's not going to get any playing time. So you don't draft someone early. He's like, oh, I could actually get some playing time. And there's veterans around the league that are like that. I bet we're in talks with maybe veteran nose tackles, veteran linebackers. Like maybe that's what it is with Shaq. They're waiting to see if they draft a linebacker early before they bring Shaq back.
I think it's another thing when you're looking at this phase of the draft. We're in round 5. We haven't taken an edge player. If we don't at this point, we shouldn't.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Bring back Von Miller.
Or Jonathan Solomon's going to play more. He's just going to be just as good as a 5th round pick at that point. I just think that's gonna be kind of where we're at with it.
Yeah, I think you go round 3 or 4, or you just that's my for me for edge. It's round 3 or 4. Just don't.
Right. Julian Neal's another one of those guys. We did bring in Neal for a pre-draft visit, didn't we?
Yeah, but we did draft. I think we'd only draft one. I don't think we'd want our only backup boundary corners to be
Here's
rookies.
A question. Do you think Trotter can play edge?
I think you could. I think that Jim Leonard could have some fun moving him around, but no.
Okay. Because I was saying, I like Aiden Fisher as well. As like this is a nice sweet spot for Aiden Fisher in the draft. You know, if we want to double up on linebacker, because we need like 3.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we definitely. I think we. Yeah, that's fine. I think then we bring back Shaq. So I think we do bring back Shaq.
Sure, we get those 2, and then we bring Shaq back, let them start, and then have them learn under him, and then we have Buffalo Joe as our backup.
Yeah.
Special.
Do we want to go D tackle?
Yeah, we might as well take a D tackle at this point, right?
And then with 220, we just go and get a kicker. And at 220, I draft a kicker with every mock draft because I just want us to get one. Because I think that's a way to, if you you push Bass to become better with some competition, and oh no, Bass beats out whoever we draft at the end of the 7th round. If 7th round picks are making your roster, that means they're either very good or your roster has some holes. Like contending teams, 7th round picks don't make the roster that often because they're just the top teams have good players already.
Fair assessment here. We're out of our depth probably at this point, so that's why I'm looking at sizes. If we're going D tackle here, Cole Brevard is 6'3", 340. Sorry.
That works for me.
That works for me for a nose. Okay, good. You want him too tall. You want him thick and stout at the same time. Like the reason Keon Walker, he's too much of an athlete, but he's just not stout enough because he's 6'8" almost. That's a problem. All right. Dude, here's another one. I love Heinderreich. I don't know why people are people trying to say he's a receiver now or something?
Yeah, PFN has him listed as a wide receiver.
He's not. Like, I know he's played pretty well. Like, I guess you could claim he's a slot receiver or something. But, I mean, to me, he's an undersized fullback that needs to put on a little bit of weight. He can be a Ty Johnson type. You know, that's my vibe on him. I would.
Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah, exactly. But he's at about 10 pounds. He weighed under 200 pounds at the combine, which is kind of shocking for a guy that plays like that. He looks bigger than that. All right, where are the kickers at, man?
You go to the filter position down at the bottom, special teams.
Yep, that's what we're doing.
They don't have a lot of them. Yeah.
Look, Florida boy.
That's who I take him every time.
Let's go, Trey Smack. He's the pick. He's the last pick of the draft.
Because as I was saying, either he beats out Bass and then we cut Bass and we save a couple mil this year. We also save a couple mil next year.
Yep.
or he doesn't beat out Bass, and all right, Bass beat out a quality kicker. I feel more confident about Bass going into the year. And no, we wasted a 7th round pick. Whoop-de-doo. What was the last 7th round pick that made a roster?
I don't want Bass as our kicker anymore. I'm done. I don't want to deal with it. I don't trust him ever. I don't ever trust him when he kicks the ball. I'm always
2024, he started out like very shaky, but then once he hit that 60-yarder against Miami, he was money the rest of the season.
So we got to see Chris Bell.
Settled him in, and he got his confidence back, and he was money.
Mm-hmm. We got C for Chris Bell, which is kind of crazy. I think they're matching up what our needs are with what we pick, and they don't have receivers a need anymore for whatever reason. We're the only team in the world that gets one receiver that's above average, and they're like, they're done.
To be fair, I mean, to be fair.
Yeah. And it's like, like the Chiefs have, a first-round pick. This is before Rice had all the problems. Rasheed Rice, all these other guys. And it's like, nah, they need another one. It's like, dude, what is this? I'd be happy with this personally, based on the structure alone, on what we need, what we can do with it. I think the main thing of this is linebacker was really hard to take in round 1 because of who was available at receiver. And then on the flip side, it became difficult for edge at all after the second round's over. Kids kind of eaten up. I think I kind of wanted to sign more than one edge in free agency for this reason, because I just don't trust that the type of impact player is going to be there for us.
Well, I bet you, again, I think we're probably in talk. I wouldn't be surprised if we're not in talks with Von Miller, but I doubt Von wants to come here just for us to draft a guy and not play a lot. Like if this happens, if we have this draft, I bet you very shortly after we sign some veteran edge, just like with wide receiver, very shortly after the draft, we signed Elijah Moore. Granted, that didn't work out, but I bet you, out of all of our needed positions, we'll probably miss out on 1 or 2 of them. And I bet within a week and a half of the draft, we will have signed a veteran at each of them.
Yeah. I think what we're going to see is the same as last year, right? Remember last year we left the draft and we're like, oh my God, we didn't get a receiver. And then the day after we get Elijah Moore, right?
Yeah.
2 days later. I think that's what we're going to probably see, right? But with a different position. I think it's going to be with linebacker.
It could be with wide receiver. We just know exactly the wide receiver. If we don't draft someone, Brandon Cooks will probably be in our building 2 days later.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I view it as well. It's like Brandon Cooks is probably going to be. I don't think Trent Sherfield has any chance. Sorry, I'm posting our draft.
I think he makes the roster until Shavers is back.
No,
I think that's kind of how they see it.
Shavers replacement, if you think about it.
What?
He's the perfect Shavers replacement.
Sherfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think he is. I think he replaces Sherfield, or I think he replaces Shavers, and when Shavers comes back,
So we have one receiver position open then, really.
I think so.
I think so too.
Unless we're trading Keon, which I just don't think they're going to.
Yeah, I wish they would, because I'd like to have two new guys. I'd like to have Cooks, a draft pick, trade Keon, and then let Sherfield take over for Shavers for the foreseeable future until Shavers gets back. That would be my scenario. They're not going to do that. They're going to probably keep Keon, or unless it's a smoke screen. I don't know.
I just think they want to try one more season with a new head coach. Granted, it's the same offensive coordinator, but the offensive system is different. I think they want to just give it one more crack with a new system to see if they can find something. Because granted, me and you both don't like him, but there are signs there. He has shown highlights. He is decent after the catch. There are routes he can run and plays he is good at. And maybe this last season could have been a wake-up call, and maybe he gets his act together some, goes to work in the offseason and fixes some things. Brady learns how to use him a little bit better. Us having DJ Moore and another high draft pick takes pressure off him. There are signs that, again, he's never going to be – I don't think he'll ever be worth the draft pick we took him. But there are signs that he could at least develop into a competent NFL receiver where it's worth having him on a rookie deal as your wide receiver 4.
Yeah. I think he's –
Matt Collins.
He flashes things sometimes, right?
Yeah.
We see it, we're like, oh, there he is. That's what we want. But he's never going to be able to tie it together to continue to do it, or consistency. Because the things he's doing that are high level aren't really consistently repeatable tasks on the football field, like winning
those off coverage slants.
Yeah, like that. You can do that. That's good. That'll work. But the problem is a lot of times he's getting a free release and he's barely a slant, by the way. I know it's a slant, but he's barely making a cut. Like he might
He's
as
kind of
well.
already, you're just running that
He might as
diagonal
well
from the
run
start.
diagonal, right? Instead
Yeah.
of coming up and going, like he's doing that in the first step or two, and then he's getting to it, which is how he can win, and that's fine. But it's not really repeatable on a like game by game basis. Like if they start pressing him there, I think that he's gonna have a hard time. And he's shown that in the past. Like when he should have caught that one versus Jalen Ramsey a couple years ago, and it pops up, Ramsey intercepts it, like because he was covered a little tighter. I don't trust his hands a lot. Like there's just a lot of little things that just make him just to me, like, I hate the profile. That's my thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm just saying, like, I do understand it if they keep him. There are signs that things can get better.
Maybe
Like,
Matt Collins. Can he be Matt Collins?
he
If
could
can't,
be he
he's a
could be
spot.
a bit more athletic Matt Collins.
Probably. He's just not. He's like vertically explosive, but that's kind of the only explosiveness I see. Like he can
Yeah.
jump, and other than that, like, and he's actually not like this. He's not like T. Higgins. T. Higgins is really like go gadget arms. Keon's built very much like a normal sized person, but taller. You know what I mean? Like he has
Yeah.
a short arm. He's just not like he's got like 32-inch arms, not 34. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to see what he can do. He's good off script for the most part, which is good for us. He's just bad at navigating traffic over the middle of the field. Like he gets muddied up so easily. Like people get physical with him, and he just kind of gets washed out. Like I wonder if he doesn't seem that strong. Like when he's running his routes, like he's unable to like shed people from him. You know?
Yeah. He doesn't create separation through people, which is what people kind of said. Oh, maybe he doesn't create it through his routes, but he can create separation through people. He just doesn't even do that.
He's not that kind of player. Like he
No.
wants to be you can tell he wants to be a finesse player, but he's not.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so like
T.
he'll do some
Higgins
cool stuff.
does create separation through players because it's 34-inch arms. He can just
Yeah.
pluck it out of the air before the defender can get to
His
it.
catch radius is nasty good. Like that's
Yeah.
part of why. And his feet, like T. Higgins just has like elite feet. That's the way I see receivers. Like if your feet are like that, where you get like Omar Cooper Jr. has really good feet as well. Like guys who have really good feet, keep their feet in all the time, even when they're catching the ball, good concentration on that kind of thing. Like I don't see Keon doing that very often. It's like either or it's nothing finesse about it that he does act like successfully. Anyway, that's it, man. We'll see you guys next week. Please like, share, subscribe, and go Bills.
I will not be here next week.
What?
I said I will not. When you said see you guys next week, I will not be in next week's episode. So Sabres game.
What's that about, bro? The Sabres?
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, me and Randall will handle it. All right, we're going back to the ad reel because. All right.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Dew Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Dew Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Dew Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.